Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name's Andrea and I love the Pilates Method of Exercise. If you're new, welcome. My channel is all about digging into the classical Pilates exercises and making the most of them in your own body, whether you're a teacher or an enthusiast. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Today I have a request for a tutorial on everyone's favorite mat exercises, the high scissors and high bicycle. So thank you, Paul Davies, for requesting this. I know that this is a series, these two exercises, actually high scissors, high bicycle, and shoulder bridge, sort of like a little trifecta of the mat that cause many of us great amounts of angst as we try to do them. And your request was to look at them from like their most basic form to their most advanced form. And so that's what we'll do today. And just before we get started, if you are interested in seeing Pilates content like this, have a look around my channel. Do become a subscriber. There's a little logo, Pilates Andrea logo, in the corner of your screen. Click on that and you'll be subscribed. If you use the bell icon, you'll be notified every time there's a new video. And let's just start looking at what we're talking about. So the high scissors come after the neck pull in Joe Pilates order. Yes, that is correct. And so you've done your normal scissors in your ab 5 exercises. And so then you have some scissors with support, and then some bicycles with support, and bicycle the other way. And then you come down into your shoulder bridge and you carry on to both sides of your shoulder bridge. Since shoulder bridge was not part of the original question, that's why I took a little quick tour of the shoulder bridge. Okay, so these exercises require some skills. The ability to have your hips up, the strength to hold them up, to hold yourself up, not just taxing your arms with holding you up, and some considerable balance, some strength side to side, you know, able to be up on this part of your back for a little while. So they're not for the rank beginner, for sure. However, we do have some stepping stones to prepare your body to do them on the mat. And of course, I have to say, the first prerequisite to doing high scissors and high bicycle is all of your other exercises. So the better you get at your 100, your basic exercises, your roll-up, all of those exercises, being really proficient in those are going to enhance your high scissors, high bicycle moment. Because the ability to get all of the back of you, all of the standing body, you know, just as if you were standing on your feet, able to stand in the air, essentially, that under your control is going to go a long way in making you successful at this exercise. And you can practice those things as early as the 100, standing your legs up in the air in the 100, all of those basic exercises. And all of our things that we have with assistance around the studio. Leg springs, any kind of scissor, you know, bicycle with the leg springs, on the Cadillac, everything like that. All of your reformer workouts, it's all going to culminate in a better high scissors and high bicycle experience. And the place you can work on these exercises at first is a very nice place indeed, and it's actually on the spine corrector. So we're going to take a look at that first. And so here on the spine corrector you have a lot of support. And this is a spine corrector made by Gratz. There's also a smaller barrel that you can use for the same purpose. And there are also different barrels of different heights and shapes that are made by many Pilates manufacturers. And basically you can see your hips are gonna be here, and it's gonna assist you by getting you into the position with the support of the barrel. And I have a side note, of course. So if you're watching this in the future, we are in the middle of September 2020, so all of my clients I'm seeing are virtual, and many of them only have a mat, and we do the mat exercises all the time. And they happen to have a BOSU, which they are substituting for these exercises, and it works really, really nicely. I don't know if you, I don't have a BOSU, so I'm not really an expert in them, but theirs looks like they have made it as inflated as possible, so it's quite firm, and I'm not certain if it functions the same way as a fit ball, if you can make it more deflated or more inflated. But the ones that my clients have look quite firm, and they are assisting them to do the high scissors and the high bicycle, and they have both graduated from being able to do it on their BOSU to being able to do it unassisted. So whatever you have to serve this purpose of the spine corrector is really effective. Okay, now for some exercising. So you'll assume the position on the spine corrector. And so here, you can really work to stand in the air from all the way under your upper back where you're attached to the mat, all the way, you're just like walking on the ceiling, right? And while your range on the barrel might be, considerable, probably, I'm just going to change to the bicycle, perhaps when you get to the actual mat exercise, your range will have to curtail a little bit, just as you build the strength to stay up there yourself. And be careful that in preparing for the mat version of the high scissors, that your scissors on the barrel don't become a split like this, because this leg counterbalances that, and it really makes your stomach not have to do as much work. So when your leg stays here and everything is reaching away, this has to work much harder, and that's what you're going to need once the barrel goes away. This is only if you want to take a beautiful picture for a Pilates website. Then you can have a pretty split, and that's perfectly fine. Okay. So this would be the place to introduce it, and depending on your person or yourself, the smaller barrel is a little smaller, the BOSU is also a little bit smaller, this is a little bit higher up, but they both serve the same purpose. Okay, so let's say you've made it away from the barrel, and one of my clients actually, she practices daily on her own, and she, I know, went through a period of time where she was using the support underneath her, but then trying to put her hands there and seeing if she could take herself off of the support as well. So she sort of experimented that way on her own, and it seemed to have worked. I've not really seen that, done in a studio, like formally, but it made it work for her. Okay, so I'm going to lose the spine corrector, and now we'll talk about once the spine corrector goes away. And it's just you and the mat. Paul, aren't you glad you asked this question? Okay, so once you get yourself, you have to be able to get your hips up in the air so that you can get your hands underneath you. So this probably will happen as you're learning other exercises where you have to lift your hips up in the air, like rolling like a ball, of course, but your corkscrew, your jackknife, all the things that help you lift up. Even if it's just, not the full expression of it, but the ability to, on your own power, lift off the mat. So once that can happen, you'll keep your elbows as close to underneath you as you can, and you'll put all of your fingers and thumbs pointing up to the ceiling, and you'll try to stand on the ceiling. And try not to feel like, your body is heavy and you have to hold up the weight of your body. You want to really generate most of that. And then at first, you're just going to make a tiny little scissor, and you're going to keep a brisk pace, because you don't want to be up here very long. You're going to pedal a little bit one way, pedal a little bit the other way, and then probably you'll just come down. So that can be your first iteration of scissors and bicycle. And then if you do the shoulder bridge, you can just come down, and you could come up again after the shoulder bridge. Usually the hands are underneath you for the shoulder bridge, but it's also an exercise without that component. Okay, so now you're getting a little bit stronger. You can stay up there a little bit longer, and you're getting better at all your other exercises all your standing exercise where you're actually standing is starting to translate into being able to stand in this upside down position. So now we're going to be a little bit more demanding of you. So now, one leg reaches up and one leg stretches and stands as far away as you can, and you get a little extra pulse, and then you come back. And it's not bouncy, it's just kind of keeping your center and stretching a little further. And then you're going to try to stand and pedal so that your foot maybe someday might brush the mat over there. And then maybe still you stand on the ceiling, you're preparing for other exercises where you roll down with control. And I myself have been doing this exercise for many, many years. I feel like I'm still making progress toward being able to get that full extension where my foot reaches toward the mat over here. I feel like maybe at one time I felt the mat, you know. So it does take a while to kind of get the connection and get the proficiency and letting the body open up like that. The spine corrector exercises are still in your repertoire. You're still working at it from all different angles. And in my experience, I feel like one day, of course I was having a lesson with Jay Grimes, and so the pressure was on, and one day suddenly I had all this like new stuff in my body that wasn't there before, and I thought, oh hey, this is what this exercise is supposed to feel like. So, you know, these things do take time. And the only other thing I will say about the scissors and bicycle is that you don't want to really belabor that exercise. I mean, 3 sets maximum. I mean, 5 sets, you're kind of up there for a long time. You have a lot more exercises to do, and it's kind of slower is not better. So I would move it along up there, and then when you come down for your shoulder bridge, actually let's talk about just a little bit of what happens after the bicycle and into the shoulder bridge, because that's another moment where you have a little bit of choice. So after your bicycle, you can do what I did before, where you just take your hands away and you roll down, and then you come back up to the shoulder bridge. So that's perfectly fine. But then you could also, after you finish your bicycle, so you did your reverse, you could, as you're turning your fingers to go out to the side, you could put one foot down and then the other, and then do your shoulder bridge, one on each side. And if that seems pretty manageable, you could come down with both feet at the same time rather. So you finished your bicycle, and then you're going to lift up and try to not crash too much as you come down to your shoulder bridge position, and then you'll do your shoulder bridge. And this is a nice indulgent moment. Not indulgent, but I like to sort of take time, use my stomach, pull the back to the mat, so that I can kind of feel, you know, what goes willingly, what maybe wants to stay in a chunk, and it gives me a little bit of a moment before I sit up for the spine twist. So thank you, Paul, for your question. It was such a good one. Good luck to you with these 2 exercises, these 3 exercises. They are very rewarding. They're not easy to do. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. If you have questions, I can't wait to join you in the conversation below for this exercise. It's a hard one for lots of people, but I assure you it is possible. Thank you. See you later. Bye.